It's been a week since I've been here, so I pray that you are doing well. And so much has happened over this past week. Lots of work done. Lots of just some very good things between work and church. And I was a part of a group called She Leads Michigan. We met on the steps of the Capitol in Lansing, Michigan on Saturday, and all these women just out there praying and praising God. There were some men there too, but it's called She Leads Michigan. It was really powerful. Prayer after prayer, praise after praise, just lifting up the Lord and honoring Him. I have a very cool story to share with you today about being in the will of God. And there are a few songs that I could have chosen, and I really went back and forth on the whole thing. But I finally decided on something by Rich Mullins called Step by Step. And I will post it for you. Step by Step by Rich Mullins. I'd like to read some of the lyrics. Rich Mullins died pretty tragically in a car accident several years ago, but great Christian artist, amazing man. And this song, Step by Step, is a blessing. Or listen to this, okay? Sometimes the night was beautiful. Sometimes the sky was so far away. Sometimes it seemed to stoop so close. You could touch it, but your heart would break. Sometimes the morning came too soon. Sometimes the day could be so hot. There was so much work left to do, but so much you had already done. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. I will seek you in the morning, and I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, and I will follow you all of my days. I saw a man at a store last night, and he had a shirt on, and as he was walking away from me, he says, I'm following the one that I love. And I didn't have to say to him, hey buddy, are you a Christian? Yeah, of course he was. You know, who follows? Most people want to be the leaders. I want to be the leader, Well, God made us to be followers and then to lead so that others would follow us as we follow Him. I had something really cool happen just a few weeks ago. I mean, it was really special. I'm going to share this story with you, and I want you to be encouraged by it. I don't know how you couldn't be, because I sure was. I don't stay in hotels very often because, I don't really, especially this year, I don't go anywhere, right? But I had this cool opportunity to work for a company that needed some help in raising money for a large group of Christian radio stations. And my boss here at Proclaim FM said, go ahead and do that. I was offered the opportunity through somebody that I worked with years ago at WMUZ, Rich Anderson. Hello, Rich, if you're listening right now or you're watching. And it's a group called Smile FM. And so I went to Imlay City, and if you've ever been to Imlay City, there ain't much there. I'm serious, right? But we stayed, in a hotel there, and their morning gal, Tracy Leeds, she was there also, and then basically the three of us were the ones to go on the air on a pretty regular basis for several hours a day for 3 days, and to just pull out all the stops and do everything that we possibly could to raise the funds so this group of radio stations, 28, could continue to share the gospel. Isn't that awesome? What a great opportunity. But the reason I mentioned the hotel is because I really love to get in a pool. I like to get in a pool. I like to exercise. I like to swim. I like to think. I like the echo. Every time I went, except for one time, I was alone. And it was kind of neat because then I could just sing and pray and just be who I am all by myself. as I went up and down and up and down and across and all kinds of exercises. It was really super fun. Okay, hold on a sec. So the last day, it was in the morning. We were there at the crack of, way before the crack of dawn. It was, pitch. And, so our first stint was over by 9 o'clock in the morning, and it kind of felt like it was 6 o'clock in the evening, seriously, because he had been going at it all day and all night kind of thing. So I went back to the hotel so I could get one last swim in and pack up my stuff, check out, and then I was going to be on the air in the afternoon, just Rich Anderson and myself for 3 hours, and we were going to just do what we could at the end to really make the whole thing happen. So, excuse me. So I went to the pool, and I get to the edge, and I just had this little heart-to-heart with God. And I just said, I just want to be in the center of your will. That's what I want. That's what I want. And it's as if I could hear the Lord say to me, okay. And that was it. I got out, dried off, went upstairs, changed, packed up, checked out, and I had several hours before I had to go back on the air. As I'm driving down the street, I see a sign that says M53, which, I'm from the Detroit area. I've lived there for many, many years. I thought, oh, that's Van Dyke. And then I went, oh, we used to go through Imlay City to go to Teen Ranch. All of a sudden, this little light bulb goes on. I'm like, wow, that's where I am. Because it's an area I never went to. I mean, very rarely, literally, probably 3 times my whole life. And Teen Ranch was a ministry that was on the station that I worked at in Detroit as a partner. And we would raise money for them to help people. And there were many folks who came through the ranks who ended up being famous athletes and politicians who went to Teen Ranch to get their life straightened out, basically. It was a great place. It was a powerful place. It was a God place. And so memories were just kind of flooding my mind because it had been years. And so when I got back to the radio station to have some lunch and figure out what am I going to do with all these hours, I see the owner, his name is Ed, and I said, all of a sudden it dawned on me, I'm on Van Dyke. This is Van Dyke. And he laughs, he goes, yeah. I said, well, do you know Teen Ranch? I used to come through here to go to Teen Ranch. He said, yes, as a matter of fact, Ray Clendenon, who started Teen Ranch, he said he was the first one to give to this ministry. I thought, wow, what are the odds? Really? That's amazing. Okay, because it's not like it was around the corner. I was just thinking in terms of the travel, going through and up Van Dyke. Our steps are ordered of the Lord. That's the idea. Let me share this scripture with you as I continue to share this great story, because it's very cool. This just happened. Psalm 37 verse 23 says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. God delights in us, and we can delight in the way that he chooses for us. And it's like a good man, it's not so much, God's the only one who is good. The Bible makes that very clear. It means someone who's pursuing him. It means someone who desires to know God, to serve him, like you and me, right? This is what we want. I said to him quietly at the edge of a pool, I just want to be smack dab in the center of your will. That's what I want. And like I said, I heard him say, okay. I didn't know what that meant at the time. Wait till you hear this. So that was the prayer. That's the word of God, Psalm 37, verse 23. The song, Step by Step by Rich Mullins, and I will follow you all of my days. And so he says to me, this owner of the radio stations, He says, as a matter of fact, his son is a chiropractor, and he's right up the street. I said, oh, I saw a sign for a chiropractor. He said, yeah, right up the street, you go to the light, you take a left. It was like he was telling me something, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then something inside my heart said, you know what? If someone knew my mom or my dad and had worked with them and liked them and really loved them even, I would love to hear from them. I mean, I would love to get someone stopping at my door or call me up on the phone and go, hey, you know what? I knew your dad. And I really loved him. He was really funny, or, you know, he really made me happy. And this is something that he did for me. Or your mother just gave me such a word of encouragement once. I mean, when she passed away, there were people who came out of the woodwork who, you know, went to, you know, Bible studies with her and prayer meetings. And they were like, your mom. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. You know? So I thought, after all these years, and I'm sure that Ray Clendenon's been gone a long while, because this was years ago. So I went and said to the guys who were at the station, and there was a concern that we might not meet our goal, and there was a lot of money that we needed to raise coming up, and, you know, for this fundraiser. And so I just said, well, you know, let's just pray and ask God to really bless us and give us the money, you know, open up people's hearts and wallets. I said, but listen, I'm going to go to that chiropractor and say hello, and I'm going to go to McDonald's and get a cup of coffee. Does anybody want one? And so they were like, no. So I left and went to the chiropractor first. And they were setting up like harvest stuff outside. It was like that time in the afternoon where a chiropractor doesn't see patients, and they were working on a project. I didn't see a man, I just saw a couple of women. So I said, hey, is Dr. Clendenon here? And the girl says, yes, as a matter of fact, he's right over here. I said, oh. I said, are you Dr. Clendenon? And he said, do I owe you money? And I said, ha. I said, no. I said, so I walked up to him, told him who I was. And I said, you know, I worked with your dad on Teen Ranch and raising funds, you know, for his ministry. And he was such a blessing. And he just looks at me like, huh. And then he admitted, he says, you know, I remember you. I said, oh, well, that's good. I said, but I remember your dad, and I just wanted you to know that I'm sure you miss him, but, you know, what a man. What a wonderful man. And he said, well, as a matter of fact, this past Sunday, I came across a box in my home, and I pulled it out, and I realized it belonged to my parents. And I was going through the stuff that was in it, and I came across a ledger of their giving. And he says, and it blew my mind. I said, wow, that's cool. I said, what a fun surprise. He says it was. It was shocking. It was wonderful. It was like, what? I said, that's awesome. Forgive me. It's been a long day. But so he says, so what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm working for Smile FM for a few days and helping them raise funds, you know, to keep all of their many radio stations on. And he said, oh. He said, well, I should call and donate. I said, well, okay, sure, here's the number. I said, no, that's not why I came. And he said, oh, no, I didn't think so. He said, let me show you my office. And he showed me around, and okay. So I left, and I went to McDonald's, and I got some coffee. I walked back into the radio station where we're going to do our last 3-hour push. And all these men are sitting there. Actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fifth one was Rich, and he was in the studio. And they're all just sitting there kind of smug, you know? And I'm like, so one of the guys says to me, girl, what did you just do? I said, I told you I was going to McDonald's to get some coffee. Did you want some? I've got time. I can go get it. That's not what I'm talking about. I said, oh, well, what are you talking about? He said, where else did you go? I said, I told you I was going to go visit that chiropractor so that I could, you know, tell him that that I knew his dad and that we worked together and, what a wonderful ministry Teen Ranch was and this and that. Oh, and then the other thing is that the doctor says to me, the guy that you're working for right now who owns these radio stations, he helped my father start a radio station in Burkina Faso. And I'm like, what? He said, oh yeah. So as much as my father was a blessing to him, he was a blessing to my dad. I'm like, that is so cool. So it was all good. So I'm like, what is this guy getting at? He's asking me, where have you been, girl? And so I said, what's going on? And then I went, did the doctor call or something? Did he call in a pledge? And so the owner says, well, yes, he gave online. And I'm not going to say what it was because it's nobody's business. It's not your business, right? It was a significant amount of money. And I was like, what? Wow. See, get it? Wow. Wow. Okay. You got it. Okay, it took you a while. It's okay. I used to teach that to my nieces and nephews. And I thought, that's amazing. And immediately, I saw myself at the end of the pool saying what I said to the Lord. I just want to be smack dab in the center of your will. And he said, okay. And I thought, that's what I was, and that's what I am. In the center of his will, walking in his ways. He's directing my path. My steps are ordered of the Lord, Psalm 37. What a great place to be. Geographically, it's the best place in the world to be. In the center of the will of God. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you that you order our steps when we want you to. There are times when we just do our own thing and we land in places that we shouldn't be, that trip us up, even cause us to sin. And there are times when we're in a place where we're ineffective to everybody, where we're unhappy or where we're sad or when we're just, it's like nothing's happening. We're lukewarm. And God, we don't want that. According to the book of Revelation, to be lukewarm is a very bad place to be. He says, I'd rather you were hot or cold. But because you are lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. Powerful words. God, direct our steps. Direct the steps of this precious person who's watching right now, right? Thank you for the ministry of Teen Ranch. All these years later, so many years later, and you bring about this amazing encounter. You're so cool. Have an awesome night tonight. Let's walk in his ways. Right? So much better.